Hello everyone, and welcome to episode, I believe it's 85 of the second season, it is, of the Yarnivore podcast. Maybe at 100 I'll change to season 3. How's that? My bangs are still wet because I wetted them so that they weren't like ploof. So, yeah, it was that or I wasn't going to get down to podcasting. I have a purring one in my lap. You may hear her, I apologize, but she's super happy and chill, so I'm just gonna keep going with that. Because who doesn't love a super happy, super chill cat? Crazy people. We're dog people. But I like them all. I do. And she's been really cuddly since I woke up, and I'm going to take advantage of that because I love kitty cuddles. I am wearing my True Friend by, I think it's Ravellenic. It's either that or Hohi Locatelli. I think it's Ravellenic. Super popular. CQ Hacken something? CQ. Used to be CQ Handmade, but I think she changed it to the German version. And the light's going to come in. It's really sunny today, so the light is going to come and go. She just finished one that is also purple and a muted tone, and I loved it. And I kind of love just like hanging out in the house in this. Like going out actually doesn't suck either, but it's so comfy and oversized and wonderful. And it is made out of Knitter's Nightmare is the purple in the I Am No Bird colorway, and then the white with speckles is Madeline Tosh sock in the Murakami colorway. Oh, I'm sorry, I stopped petting her. The world ended. The world ended. You have snot. And the dog might come in, might not. She tends to stay away from Catville. So, what have I been up to? Well, shall we start with the start? I finished a thing. I have not woven in the ends, so technically I don't know if you want to call it finished or not, but I did finish it. Like it needs to have its ends woven in and it needs to be blocked, and I can tell you how many things need to be blocked. Like there's like a running tally, and I need to reblock some things, and I need to get a gleaner and glean some things. But all in all, so the bulky vest needs to have its ends woven in and it needs to be blocked. That's fine. The Marco Polo still needs to be blocked. The ends are woven in. And I need to reblock my palm to pin because, yeah, I wore it when I was sick and I want to get the germs off. It also needs to be gleaned because it's pilling because I wore it so much. My calligraphy needs to be gleaned. My dirty martini. So I need to glean. I need to get a gleaner, and I need to glean things, and then I need to re-block a bunch of stuff. Wash and block. I'm going to have a part as soon as it gets warm enough. It's been chilly here. And by chilly, I don't mean by any Canadian standard. I mean, it's not warming up enough that it would dry things quickly, so no fluff butt. You do not go up there. No. You have two choices, my lap or going down. Those are your options. She might try and eat the sweater because she loves string. So the strings hanging off that need to be sewn in, I might get in trouble here. Yep, I'm in trouble already. Okay, so I finished my Marled Mania sweater, which is like a crack. It's sweater crack is what it is because it's so much fun. And so I always forget which is the front and which is the back, and they're shaping. Okay, the front is where the thingy is, okay, so here it is, all finished. If you follow me on Instagram, I've shown it, tried on many times. I did not show the finished one after I finished the second sleeve, but I showed the finished with the first sleeve, so you get the idea. And so the top here is Wonderland in Hedgehog, which is the brownish color, and then Patton's Croy in a heathered teal, and then the rest you just use odds and ends, so that's what I did, and it's wonderful. I went down a size. I was gonna do a size bigger. I think I was doing the double XL and I went down to the XL, which fits me the way I want it to. And So yeah, let's see if I can show this off better. I love the way this came out here. Oh, I love the marling. Oh, I want to marl everything now. Okay, you can go down. You can go down. Okay, go down. No? I'm tripping her out because I'm holding strings over her head. She can't eat. And then, so we have the sleeves, and the sleeves have thumb holes. If only you could see the cat eating the strings. You would laugh. Oh, how you would laugh. But you can't. She's in my lap. So the thumb holes, oh, there we go. Come on. There we go. Is that entertaining? It entertains me to no end, so I hope it entertains you as well. I know, I'm teaching her bad things. Quit. No, we're not going to quit. So there are thumb holes on both sides, and I need to weave in the ends, I need to block it, and yeah. And I need to put it away so Kachansky quits flossing with it. Hey, hey. I haven't yarn trained her yet, and quite frankly, my beetle was into yarn, and I never yarn trained her, and she just stopped caring and preferred other things. So she really likes feathers on strings, way more than she likes yarn, but yarn will do in a pinch for her. So I'm just going to weave in the ends. I'll show you the inside. I knit in all my yarns so I can just clip the ends after it's blocked, but it looks like, there you go. I'm just going to clip those because I would say I knit about 2 inches with each before I ran out of yarn. So they're knit in and they'll be fine. I did the same thing on the sleeves. So really I'm just going to sew in a few ends and call it a day for that particular item. So finishing something that big made me super happy. Wouldn't it make you super happy? She is so jacked up. Like, where's the string? Bring back the string. Might have to give her her own string. I've done that too. Okay, so she doesn't eat it. Originally I was worried she would eat it and then I'd have to like clip it as it came out of her butt, because you have to do that if they eat string. But no, she doesn't eat it. She just likes to play with it and chew it. So that was my finished object. And things I've worked on that you have seen already include, in my knot bag, we have the Desert Vista Dye Works socks for February, which are Susan's Afghan colorway. I'm making these for my husband, who has a giant foot. I'm using two US 1.5 2.5 millimeter needles. Usually I use US 1 2.25s for myself, but I found unless I want to go up to a 72 stitch, which I don't want to, if I go up to a 2.5, it does the same thing on a 64 for him, and he's okay with that. This is the first sock. I used the pinstripe pattern and Fish Lips Kiss Heel. Okay, no baby. I love you. Go down. I love you. Go down. There you go. She's like, why must I go down? I know, this is the Kachansky show. So the first one is finished. It is done. And then the second one I have started. The ribbing is done, so really the hard part is done now. It's just go into town. And I'm going to Madrona this weekend. I will be there on Saturday. I'm not sure what time, probably in the afternoon. So if you're in Madrona and you're at the marketplace in the afternoon and you see my head, because my hair is red and I will be able to spot, feel free to come over and say hi. Yeah, but that's like an hour and 15 minutes, I want to say, to drive to Tacoma. So I'll have an hour and 15 minutes, so this is what I'm going to work on, and then I'm going to work on this on the way back. I will probably finish it in the car. I am almost 100% positive I'll finish it in the car, because once I get going, I'm really unstoppable. And so that is my hope, so that these get done. And then he will wear them and be happy, because he likes hand knit socks. And he has two settings. He's either barefoot because his feet are too warm, and because he can't be barefoot on the ship, even in the shower, which kind of sucks. He has shower shoes, like you. Reminds me of staying at hostels, which is completely cool, but for 6 months of your life, that can be a bit rough. So he likes going sockless when he can, but in the cold, he likes having his feet warm. So the other thing I worked on that you've seen before is the How Cold Is It mitts by Drunk Girl Designs. So if you're easily offended by swear words, this has a swear word on it. And I'm going to show it to you. So fast forward a little bit. I intend to offend. That's what I do. At least the people who will see my mitts and not like swear words. Then you'd have to read it, and quite frankly. So it's my Yarn Friendly Pokemon bag, and Yarn Friendly is out of Saskatchewan, my home province, which is currently undergoing some serious political trauma that I don't think I need to discuss here, but which has weighed heavily upon me and has really depressed the living snot out of me, and makes me worry for my family in a way that I haven't worried before. So yeah. But anywho, love the bags, so go feel free to find Yarn Friendly and buy bags from her. As you've seen before, I had one finished mitt without the thumb. I said I'm going to do my thumbs later. So that's the one I have finished. I haven't blocked them. I'll block them afterwards. I did find that the girl with the prefabricated heart, when I blocked those, they really looked much better. So I will block these just to get them to sit right. I'm using a US 1 2.25mm needle, and it calls for a US 1.5 at 2.25, and I went down because I wanted it to be tighter, not looser. And I think that once it's blocked, it's going to give me just a smidgen of give, and that'll be more than enough give. I like them to be more tight than flappy, so this is what works for me. So that's the first one. The second one I am working on. I've almost finished the swear. Almost. And so the thumb hole has been you put it on waste yarn, you go back and knit them. So that's where we're at on that one. And it's fun. I really like doing it. It's really a pleasure. I'm using Addie sock rockets. I'm just using plain Hiya-Hiyas for the Desert Vista. So yeah. And this is out of Soft Like Kittens and 3 Irish Girls. This is the Cashmerino Merino Nylon. And I believe it's like sea salt or sea spray or something like that. I don't have the tag anymore. It has long since been lost, and I could look it up on Ravelry, but I don't want to leave you. And this is a prototype colorway from Soft Like Kittens that I got way back when I lived in Canada, so this is a 7-year-old yarn. She has since stopped dying, so I apologize for showing you yarn you can't buy, but that's life. I'm trying to use stash. I mean, I understand a lot of people have gone into the cold sheeping portion of life, or they're not buying stash, or they're not stash enhancing, they're trying to knit down. I'll hold that down just so I don't offend people. I've already offended them, but now I'm going to put them away while I talk about this. So some people are choosing to knit from stash, and some people are cold sheeping, and I understand all of that because I too am on a budget. We are all budget-friendly, conscious people. And I think Tracy said it best, or Reese, on her Passionate Spinner podcast, where she was talking about how it doesn't matter what yarn or needles you use as long as you enjoy yourself. And I completely concur, which is it's a hard stance for me to take as a dyer, because when I am not recovering from gallbladder surgery and cannot do a whole heck of a lot for the next month, I dye yarn and I expect people to buy it, and I don't expect people to buy it. I hope people buy it because that's how I make a living, which is all good and fun, but I also understand that we're all doing what we can, so I really appreciate when people buy things from me, because I understand that that's your hard-earned money. It's the same way when I buy something, I hope they understand that, you know, you can go to a mass market box store and buy cheap stuff. And it's not bad. It's still good. But, you know, you make the decisions you make. And I'm not going to fault anyone for using, like, I'm using a yarn that I got from Michaels on one of my projects here, and I got it on clearance, and I think I paid less than 20 bucks for a sweater's quantity worth of yarn a couple years ago. And so, I don't know. I think we're getting too into the culture of let's buy, and then you see a bunch of destashes because life happens, and I think maybe we're getting a little crazy, and I would much rather, I'm trying to rein myself in. Now, having said that, I have yarn to show you, but I'm trying to rein myself in, and I understand where other people are trying to rein themselves in and trying to use up their stashes. Like, I mean, we're looking at moving to Canada in the end of 2019, when the hubby is out of the Navy and is going to go to university. So we're going to go back to Canada to be near my family, and I don't want to move all this yarn, so I better knit it, right? Spin the fiber, knit the yarn, do it all, because it's, yeah. Not saying I'm not going to buy a shit ton of yarn, because I buy a shit ton of yarn all the time. But I'm being more mindful of it. Sorry. It is allergy season for me here. Actually, the Pacific Northwest is allergy season. So that was, you can return if you've been being horribly incensed by the things I knit. And so the last thing I started during the Olympics, so I'm doing the Ravellenic games, and I did the first knitting Olympics. Shall we have a story time? This is a tangent. The first year the knitting Olympics happened, and it was the knitting Olympics because the Olympics hadn't forced Ravelry to change it yet. I was a young knitter, and I got the Pound O' Love. You know the Red Heart Pound O' Love I speak of. And I got my needles, because I was a beginning knitter, and I've been knitting since I was 9. That's when my mom taught me, and I made like a scarf. And then I went dormant for a long time. And then my aunt taught me how to make dishcloths when Ethan won Survivor. Yes, that is how obscure we're getting. Because his mom owned a knit store or something, and he knit, and I thought that was really cool. And my aunt taught me how to make dishcloths, and from there I made drop stitch scarves, and then I went crazy. And that's when the obsession started. I quit smoking like ages ago, and then I went back on the wagon during my master's, but so I used knitting to help that. And tangent over. First knitting Olympics, still called the knitting Olympics, and I got the Pound O' Love because I knew no better. Kachansky, she's a bull in a china shop, I tell you. She can't even jump onto the bed. And she knocks over the lamp. What else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? Hold on. Fluff bucket. Okay, so I got the Pound O' Love, I got the needles, and the pattern I was using was the Bad Penny by Stephanie Jappel, which was on Knitty. It's still on Knitty, and it's a lovely shirt, and it was a little too bodycon for me, and so my plan was just gonna go up a size. And I did test swatches, and I did everything, because you could do that right before the start. And then I watched the lighting of the Olympic torch, and I cast on, and I knit like the wind, and I knit, and I finished it. I finished it in time, ends woven in. I blocked the thing, and then you could have fit me, my mother, and my brothers inside the shirt with how big it was. Like, it was massive. I don't know how, like, I think I used the entire Pound of Love. And then I had a brown, just a generic brown Red Heart that did the bottom pattern. And I don't know what went wrong, or where I went wrong, or how I did, but oh my goodness. That was an epic fail, but I did it. So I count that as a win, even though it didn't fit. I did have a friend at that point who it did fit, so she got it. But yeah, no. It was bad. It was so bad. I was like, how did this happen? I gauge watched and everything. So this year I'm doing the Ravellenic Games, which was formerly the Knitting Olympics until there was a cease and desist order. And the one I'm doing, Kachansky, do I have to lock you out of this room when I podcast? Because I will. I will be mean like that. I am doing the Grandpa Cardigan by Joji Locatelli. It looks like this, except, as you can see, the printer ran out of ink halfway through. So it's got these gorgeous cables. It's a V-neck. It's got shaping. I'm showing you the lower half because that's where you see more cables. But the top is beautiful too. Just a slightly rolled collar. Not too much, which is nice. That's the one thing I find about the Beacon Hill is the collar is quite intense, and it can either be what I need or it can drive me mental. So I cast on when... Yes, Mom, I'm bending, but I'm doing really good about it. When the Olympic Winter Games started, I am using Isaac's Colorway Merino Blend by Isaac Mizrahi Craft, which again, I said I got on super clearance at Michael's. I highly doubt you can get it anymore. But I got a sweater's worth for under 20 bucks, and dang, that's a good thing. It's 50% fine merino wool, 50% microfiber acrylic. It's very smooshy. There's 213 yards per ball, and I'm sure I will have some left over. Is there a colorway on this? No, it's just a lot number. Oh no, the color is silver. It is a really beautiful medium gray. I don't usually do a lot of light stuff, but I thought this would be really nice. So I'm using 4.5 millimeter needles. I have Haya sharps in this one. Although I'm thinking about going more wood based, just because these do get a little rough on the hands. The sharps are good though for the fact that I'm doing so much cabling. I have screwed up the cable a total of 3 times. One I did twice. The first one I caught, so I made the second one the same way, and I can show you that. Here, let me show you my screw ups. So in the top halves here, where is it? It's up here. When you pick up through the sides, so you knit the back to a certain point, and then you do the front sides to a certain point, and then you join them all together and knit down. You can see there, this is not supposed to be like that. I did the cable twice. So then when I did the other side, I just made sure to make the same mistake. Oh yes, this is bugging you, but yet you want to be here, eating the yarn. Don't eat my yarn. That's her teeth hitting the desk. Give up. Okay, so I made that mistake, and then on the underarm, now when it gets to the point that if you're planning, you can make sure that all of your cables cross at the same time. And I got most of my cables to cross at the same time, but my big thicker cables, the doubles, those ones, do not cross at the same time. The fronts cross at the same time, but the back crosses at a different point. And so I have all the backs going at the same time and all the fronts going at the same time, but there's one in the armpit that I screwed up because it's the armpit right here. There you see it. And I didn't feel like going back, so I just did the twist where it was supposed to be. I did it at the wrong side because I've got my little side markers or gargoyles, and then I've got bats and crows to tell me which back panel it is, because there's left back, center back, and right back. So, yeah. I have finished the sleeves look massive until you realize that they aren't on my body and cables don't really bend. And plus, if you stretch it, it's perfect, so I'm okay with that. It does buckle in on itself until you block it. So, I finished the neck shaping. Let's see if you can see it on one. Yeah, you can, because you can see how everything grows out of it. Here we go. So the neck shaping is done. I have finished the waist increases, and I will be beginning the decreases soon. There's where I am from the armpit. Trying to show this thing off is really not easy, just so you know. I'm pretty sure you get it though. There's the armpit there. And so from there, you finish. Now you knit the set-in sleeves and the cables at the same time, so you, and I think that is going to drive me bonkers, and that is going to be really hard for me, but there is still hope. There is still hope. And I believe this whole thing is knit on a 4.5. You don't change for ribbing or anything. I'm not 100% sure, but and I will say the other thing I love about this pattern, I went through the pattern and read everything, and I highlighted everything I needed to highlight for my size, you know, as you do, and got everything all together, and it's really well written. There's a lot. It's like 15 pages long, but if you go through and do that, you understand that it's like this portion is your size. There's like a whole bunch of the other sizes. She really, really thought about it, and I find the problem with some cabled garments is that when they size up, they just put more stitches between the cables, so really it starts looking a little weird, because, you know, okay, so it's sized for a 36-inch bust, right? So that's how the cables are supposed to sit. And then for a, what, 38, it's just, they start going further apart. And then a 40, a little further. 42, a little further. Like, if they actually take the time to do that, they just add stitches between the cables, and that is not what has been done by Joji Locatelli. She has actually put cables in and like filler stuff so that it looks really good no matter what size it is. You're going to get essentially the same aesthetic as this, because you know she's not the same size as me. And if you look at this pattern, you can actually see that her end, right in here, it's on a little half cable-y thing there. And my end is actually on one of the larger, I have one of these guys before the end of my neck shape. Could you, I love you too, go, go, go Fuzzbutt. So she actually takes the time to put cables in for the larger people rather than just adding a couple of stitches here and there, which I really love. And the shaping is thoughtful for larger sizes as well as small sizes. It's definitely something that makes me go, I need to get more of her patterns and really support her, because that's not an easy thing to do, and that's not the out that most people would take. Right? Because I've seen it. I've bought patterns where and then I don't knit them because I'm like, no, really? So the model will be a 36-inch bust, and they'll say 36-inch bust with 2 inches of positive ease or whatever, and she's got the cabling on and it looks beautiful, and then you go to knit it and it's like, here's the center cable and there's like 8 inches of just blank for bigger people, and then there's your cable, but when it's on the smaller model it's like bing, 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 bing all the way across. So Joji has actually taken the time to get all that done, and I appreciate her, and I'm loving knitting the cardigan, and I'm surprised that there's only 3 screw-ups because I have been knitting this on Vicodin, which I no longer need to take. Woo! Which is exciting. Exciting. I can tell you, my liver went off. Oy. Livers do not like missing their gallbladders. They're unhappy. Okay. That's all my whips. So let's go into little stash enhancement, just a little bit, just a little bit. There's all Tracy's fault. She was showing off stuff from her friend, who is Kunterbuntevo. Hope I'm not butchering that too horrifyingly. Here's her card. Wohl handgefarbt im Algau? Algu? Whatever. That's her Etsy. FY, if you just search Kunterbuntewohl, it will show that. It'll bring up her Etsy site, so you don't have to do a lot of thinking. I should also point out that now that Devanda, which is the German Etsy-ish thing, it now does English stuff which is awesome, but bad for me. So I saw this color. It's got turquoise and purples, and like look at what I'm wearing, and then think about the blues, turquoises, purples. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So this is gorgeous, and I saw it, and then I bought the 2 skeins she had left. 420 meters, so I imagine that's 400 yards of an 80-20. It is not the same 80-20 that I use. So I'm interested to see how this base knits up, and this is wool polyamide, or PA, which I assume is polyamide, and that means nylon, or a nylon-like substance. And so the colorway name is Nebelspitzer Gang, or that's me really butchering it. However, I was in the VKN and Tracy was there, and there were a couple other German people, but so I have had it translated for me, and it's Walk in the Fog. So I have 840 meters, or I assume 800 yards, of this gorgeousness, which needs to become something. Something good. I don't know what, but I like it. Maybe I'll stripe it with something. I like stripes. What do you think? Yeah? Either way, that was my little treat for recovery. And so you should totally go check out her shop. Her dyes are awesome. They're really, like, I mean, even though it's coming from Germany, it's really affordable, which I like as well. And something fell down, and I don't know where it went. Oh well. So, yes, affordable even though it comes from Germany. I've said I'm going to Madrona. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was this Stitch dictionary I picked up. I think everybody's seen it because it came out a while ago. It's the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, translated with an introduction by Gail Rome. 260 Exquisite Patterns by Hitomi Shida. And it's published by Tuttle. And what I want to do with this is... Where the heck did I know I brought it here. I swear the cat stole it. So, the Larch cardigan, which is by, I forget whom. It's a lovely cardigan, and I've been planning to knit it, and I have the yarn set aside in my little yarn pile where I plan everything. That's not it. Oh, did I pull it up over here? Yes, I did. Okay, it's underneath the How Cold Is It pattern. Okay, the Large Cardigan is by Amy Christoffers, who did the Pomme de Pin, and so, which is savory knitting. It looks like this, except my ink ran out, so you get the general idea. It's got the roll collar again. Apparently that's my jam right now. You've got the 2-button closure, and as you can see, I cleaned my fountain pen. And it's just plain. And there's nothing wrong with just plain. Here it is closed. It's very simple. It's very simplistic. It's very straightforward. It's a lot of stockinette, and I'm doing a lot of stockinette in general right now because of the Sunset Highway and the socks. And I've got the Jelly Roll shirt I want to cast on, and then I'll show you the other 2 things I got ready to cast on. So I figured what I would do is I would go through here because there's gorgeous, gorgeous patterns. And they're super intricate. There's actually lacy pattern with smocking, lacy patterns with leaves, lacy patterns with baubles. Not into baubles, but we've got edgings and pattern arranging and panels. I love the panels. See, I could pick one of these panels and put it on the back and then do something different on the side. So what I'm going to do with the Larch is ooh, I love that. Don't you love these? I love these. Yes. Apparently I'm having a cable moment. I may as well ride it. I may as well ride it, right? So I'm going to pick out a panel. I'm going to try and put things on the back and put things on the sides so that it's not boring the crap out of me. And I think that's fair. Like, I think that's pretty fair. And like even just this little guy up here, that would be really cute on the sides. Or so that's my plan. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the Charm of It. The Charm of It designs all her own stuff because she's like got the brain power and everything. This is the first time I'm going to be augmenting a pattern as heavily as I plan to, but I am really going to enjoy it, and I hope that by doing that, and also my yarn is I'm going to be using the Haida colorway by Socks That Rock, so it's got to look good on dark is the other thing. But I think I'll be able to get it where I want it to, and you can all follow along with me for that. The other thing is I did a stash toss in yarn to make sure everything was where it needed to be, because sometimes I go in there and I'm like, I want a yarn that's blue, and then I pull out all the blue stuff, and then I'm like, okay, and then I go do my thing, and then I haven't cleaned it up. So I went and I cleaned up everything yarn wise and reorganized it into its stacks, and I was like, okay. So I planned 2 more shirts, because who doesn't need more shirts? 5mm, nice. So the Brown Stitch Knitting Patterns by Elizabeth Smith, Jessie's Girl, which calls for a sport weight, is going to actually be knit out of, I'm going to show you this, which is leftover from the combo spun that I did for my Dirty Martini for, I was following Tracy's pattern or Tracy's YouTube tutorial, that's where I was going. And I have 886 yards left over in the 2 hanks, and then I have this substantial cake, substantial. Yes. And I was like, okay, I could probably knit another something out of it. And I don't really mind knitting another something out of it because I like the colors. It's all Into the World. I picked only Into the World to do that with. And it says to do 7 to 10 inches of positive ease to get it to do what you want it to. So I will probably be doing the large. I have anywhere from a 44 to a 47, depending on which bra I'm wearing. And so 48.5 is the medium, and I think that would just be a little too tight because I do want the fit like that. So I'm going to go with the finished circumference of the 52 inches. Oh, it also actually, below are my recommendations for which size to make based on your actual bust measurements. So 46 to 50 is the extra large, and I think that that's just too much. Size 42 to 45 is the large, and I said the large, which is 52, so that still gives me like 5 to 7, so I'm going to be fine with that. For my size, it says approximately 908 yards of a sport weight yarn. I will have to do a gauge swatch just because I'm using hand spun, just to see where I get it, but I think that'll be nice and easy, and it's garter stitch, so I mean really, and that should use everything up, or at least really close to everything, and then whatever's left over is going to the Passionate Spinner for her blanket. And the cat is causing havoc again, because that's what she does. And then, so I ran out of bags, like project bags that were the right size, so I just used this giant freezer gallon bag. I suppose it's similar to the IKEA bags, whatever. No one cares. I grabbed the needles I need for this, because I actually had them, and I'm a lemming and a sheep. Meh. And so this is a Flax Light, which is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits, and the chest circumference based on my size and my needs with, okay, go in the window, with some ease according to what they want. I went with an extra large, which is a 47-inch chest, and it said to go with 0 to 2 inches of positive ease, so I will get the positive ease I need. It is written from a 0 to 6-month-year-old to 4XL, so I love these guys. And it's free, and I'm going to fade it. And so my plan is the ribbing, all the ribbings are going to be done in this, which is the Twilight Garden on the giant base, Knitter's Nightmare. And then my fade will go as follows. I might rearrange these, but here are the 4 colors that I'm putting in. Because I need, it calls for 1900 yards, so I'm going to do all the ribbings in this, possibly more ribbing on the arms, hard to say. So, from the bottom up, or I'll take them out for you. I got my needles, and these are the super old Prims that I love. They're not super old, but apparently you can only get them in like Canada and stuff. I really enjoy them much more than the Hi-Hi's and stuff, but I'm also thinking I might move into wood because it's so much nicer on my hands. I picked these up at Rainy Day Yarns, which is in Gig Harbor, which was super nice. I should go down and see if they want to carry my yarn. Yeah, need to get expanding, right? Black Trillium Fibers, the Pebble Sock, which is 100% Superwash Merino, 380 yards. This is gorgeous. This is the Primrose colorway. Also got this at Rainy Day Yarns. I went there when I was like having a rough day. Like I just decided I'm gonna get, there's a quilt shop right next door, so I was like, I'm going to the quilt shop and then I'll go around and see if there's a yarn store. There's a yarn store right in the, yeah, it was kismet and I spent way too much money. But but I was suffering at that point because that was when I had burnt myself and the hubby was out at sea. Hula Hut yarns in the Plum Siren colorways. Indy dyed in the Pacific Northwest. This is her sock, 75-25, 463 yards. See here, hulahutYarns.etsy.com. And then I got a skein of Ba La Hola, 100% Superwash Merino, 400 yards in the Dragon Tail colorway. I kind of bought them all together, except for this one. And this is After the Storm on Acoustic Sock, which is 80-20, Superwash Merino nylon, 400 yards, and it's an Indian color, who we all love. So I figured these can all go together. I'm not sure 100% how, but I'm down. I'm so down. Maybe like that. That works really nice, actually. Maybe I'll do it that way, because then I can pull the pink from that to get. Kind of want the ribbing to stand out a little, so that works pretty decently. I like it. Okay, so I will put everything back in its bag, and so those are the two things I planned while I was tossing the stash, because I can't go into the stash without thinking, hey, what can I do with all this stuff? I've also discovered that I need to knit more socks, just based on how much self-striping I've got. Oh my goodness. So it's a good thing I plan to make socks for a lot of people this year. That's another plan that will happen at some point. So I've got those two plans, and yeah, 3 plans. 3 plans. I'm crazy. This is really long, so I apologize, but you will see me again next week. I'm trying to get it back to this weekly thing, and so far it's working. And I'll probably have some stuff to report from Madrona. And Kachansky is laying on my bulky vest, staring at me evilly, as she does, and purring up a storm. So I better go give her some lovin's. And I will see you again next week. Bye.